Hello and welcome to Gig Masters. I'm your host, Mooney Man. If this is your first visit to the channel, thanks for stopping by. And if you find these tips helpful, please subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment below, and check out the other episodes. If you're already a subscriber, then welcome back for another episode of How to Get and Keep More Gigs. Episode 4 of Gig Masters, the amp stand. Well, guys, it's just a fact that sometimes you're going to have to play a gig where there is no stage. The performance area is going to be on the floor. The floor is going to be hardwood, tile, brick, or some hard surface that doesn't have carpet on it. And that could be at a cafe, could be at an art gallery, it could be at a grocery store, it could be at someone's home. You may get a private gig at someone's home, poolside or something. And there's not always going to be a elevated performance area. So, a lot of times you're going to use a smaller amp. I'm not talking about those gigs where you've got to bring a Marshall half stack or you're playing for 10,000 people. I'm talking about the smaller venues where all that is needed is a smaller amp. Like in this example, the Fender Blues Junior. It's not an endorsement, it's just, it's my own amp. I use it on very small gigs. My go-to amp, however, is the venerable Fender Deluxe Reverb. And but for this example, we're going to use this Blues Junior. Have you ever gone to a venue and listened to live music and the guy sets his amp directly on the floor? Guys, look, I'm not going to go into the technical parts of sound dynamics and acoustics and all that. I'm just going to tell you that this example that you're looking at here is terrible. Do not do this. If you find yourself in a situation where you don't have an amp stand, you can do a couple of things. You can put a gig rug on the floor just in front of the amp, and that kind of wrangles in the wild signals that you're going to get bouncing across the floor. The other thing you can do is lean the little amp back a little bit so that you can actually hear yourself and not send that signal bouncing and skipping right along the floor. Someone who is going to be sitting 10 feet in front of your amp is going to get up and leave if you continue to do this. And trust me, you're going to find that this technique for using the small amps works. It's very simple. It's called it's an amp stand. Okay, so this first example is what not to do. Okay, you can try to lean the amp back. You can try to put it on a gig rug. But the best thing to do is to get the thing up off the floor for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's just easier to get to. If you're like me and you've got a guitar on your back, why would you struggle bending over with a guitar? And a lot of times you're in a dark area. It just doesn't make sense to keep your amp way down low like that when you're using the smaller amps. The other thing is that you see that the amp is down by my ankles, right? You can't really get a good monitor on yourself if your amp is down there by your ankles. Leaning it back helps a little bit, but then again, you still got that back thing going. The other thing is, by getting that amp up, you can monitor yourself a little bit more clearly. I mean, there's a tilt. You see the slight tilt on that amp stand? It puts the amp at a little tilt so that it projects the sound up and towards your ears, not at your ankles. So anyway, get an amp stand. They're like, you can get one on eBay used for $10 plus shipping. This is an example of I really dig this. You can actually put the smaller amps on a speaker pole, and that helps, especially if all you have is a smaller amp on an outdoor gig or a larger gig. By putting that smaller amp up on a speaker pole, you're going to see that that helps a lot with sound. So anyway, guys, I hope this tip has been helpful. Smash up the likes, hit that subscribe button, comment below, check out the other episodes. Help me grow this channel. Thank you again. My name is Mooney Man, and you are watching Gig Masters. How to get and keep more gigs. Now let's get those gigs.